25 in the country in three-point shooting around him as well.
He's a load down there. True low post guy, very good hands, very good feet. Let's see how UCLA defends him here early on.
Steven Jamerson getting his first start as a Bruin has the possession in the hands of Trent Perry.
Well, obviously this group that Mick Cronin is starting, you're giving up a little bit on the offensive end, especially with Dent and Bilodeau off the floor. So let's see how this group reacts to starting the game tonight.
Perry does have a start. He filled in for Donovan Dent, who was held out with an injury the last time UCLA was on this floor, and he gets us underway.
He's just so much more confident this year, JB. You saw flashes last year, but a little inconsistent, like a lot of freshmen are, but a different player this year, more ready for a bigger role, and he's played well here early in the season.
A bobble by Mikey Williams. This is a very turnover-prone Sacramento State team.
Well, and one reason why, look, Mikey Williams is a very good player, but he's not a true point guard, and I think that's what they struggle with, a game manager that can get them in their offense and run things. They kind of do it by committee. Williams does have the ball in his hands a lot, but again, more of a scoring guard than a true point guard.
Jamerson facing up, able to shed that second defender, and he puts an early foul on Jeremiah Cherry.
Well, it's interesting what I just said about Sacramento State, because their head coach is that guy. Was a true lead guard, game manager, very good college player, won a national championship at Arizona, very good NBA player for a long time. But just getting started here at Sacramento State. Exciting times at Sac State.
Daly off the back iron, an empty possession for the Bruins. Prophet Johnson with that rebound. He's one of the leading characters for these Hornets as Jamerson erases at the rim.
I know it's a small sample size, JB, but Prophet Johnson at 6'3", maybe. You don't see guys at that size averaging almost 10 rebounds a game. That's unheard of. But a high-level athlete and not afraid to get in there and mix it up.
So when I say that he leads D1 in rebounds per game among players 6'3" or shorter, you think that's true of 6'2" or shorter?
6'1.5" or shorter.
Loose ball claimed by Jamar Brown, and he gets the Bruins on the move. Williams had to wait for it to come down, and UCLA will keep it.
And I think that's one thing that's missing from this year's UCLA team as well, is last year they were so good at getting stops, getting turnovers, and then getting out in transition for easier offense. Haven't had as many opportunities this year just because they've been taking the ball out of the net more.
UCLA has led its conference in scoring defense the last 4 years under Mick Cronin.
Brandon Williams got to be ready to shoot there. Double comes to Daly. He was open.
Eric Daly Jr. hits, and he's been shooting it well. Made 3 more threes against Arizona. He's 60% from behind the arc so far this season. Knocks down a 2 to begin his night.
He's a tough guard because he can do that. He's become a very capable three-point shooter, but he's good in that mid-range, mid-post area with that fadeaway.
Jamerson collects the catch, trapped on the baseline, and gives it away. He thought it was deflected.
Daly gets mismatches a lot. Teams that switch, he's got the smaller Johnson on him. And again, he likes his dropping the shoulder into the defender, get space, step it away. He loves that fadeaway on the baseline. Are they going on Cherry or not?
On the dribble, it looked like, as he got to that left shoulder and missed. And it'll stay at this end.
All Jamerson's got to do is make him post up outside of the lane, push him off his spot, get him to that 10 to 12 foot area so he can't just back down and go left shoulder, right shoulder, make him make a play.
Starting caliber Bruins waiting their first chance off the Mick Cronin bench tonight. Game number 5. Looks like we're going back to the baseline with Mikey Williams.
It'll be interesting to see how long this goes. Obviously, they're going to play tonight. When does he bring them in? But what an opportunity for these guys, JB, to get minutes right off the bat. You never know. Play well, you earn a bigger role.
Williams to Brown, knifing through in transition, and a free throw to follow.
Again, defense to offense. Make it easier on yourself by getting out in transition. They had numbers, and Jamar Brown with just a good individual play.
Going to force Mike Bibby to spend an early timeout. Jamar Brown, who went over the 1,000 career point plateau in the win over Pepperdine, the outset of this campaign in Westwood.
Well, if Mick can follow the defensive game plan, the scouting report, and that's what led to mistakes in Arizona scoring down the stretch and winning the game. But UCLA is going to get there. I think UCLA fans, people that follow this program, Mick Cronin will get what he wants. And this roster is very good. So once he gets them to where he wants them, you're going to see UCLA take off and be a very good team.
Arizona closed that game on a 16-6 run. The Cats making their final 4 shots, 5 of their final 7. Too many of those at the rim for Mick's liking. And, you know, on the final box score, it says UCLA was minus 18 in the paint, minus 25 in bench points. So those are things that, you know, come the second half of this game, we'll be monitoring.
Well, and not only that, with this mix-up in the starting lineup, these guys, you may need these guys for bigger roles down the stretch. You never know what can happen during the course of a college basketball season. So, again, I know I've said it a couple times, but a great opportunity for this group.
Hornets 0 for 5, make it 0 for 6 as Jamerson takes care of another one. The hit-ahead Jamar Brown rolls it in with the right hand.
Jamerson's going to be big for UCLA for that reason. He's the best rim protector on the team. His job is simple: defend the rim, defend the paint, and run in transition.
Williams cannot find any airspace and turns it over against Eric Daly Jr.
Jamerson's so long, but has great instincts to go after the shot without fouling. Gets that one, and then Daly up ahead to Brown for the easy deuce. You know, Booker has been starting, and they're asking him to be a different player than he was at Michigan State, and I think that progression has gone well the first part of this season, but they need Jamerson to be able to handle a bigger role if things come up.
Hammers the offensive glass. His second chance at it. 12 to shoot. Perry's running the show in the first segment here at UCLA. Jamerson gets it back. Daly puts his back to the basket. Has to be now for Perry. Knockdown and one.
Well, Perry had been struggling a little bit coming in from behind the three-point line. 3 for 13 early in the season. He's proven to be a good shooter. Again, this comes back to confidence and getting more comfortable. I think the more he plays, the more he'll settle in and the more he'll make more threes.
Sometimes those are the best shots to get if you're slumping, the ones that you know no one else in the gym can take because it's got to be you to beat the buzzer.
Right. And there's no pressure because it's end of the clock.
A dream start for the Bruins with this second wave starting lineup.
I'm a little surprised that Sacramento State isn't going into Cherry and playing out of him more.
Prophet Johnson spits it out to Williams, and still the Hornets can't find it.
Williams has proven he can get it going. Had 30 at UCSB earlier in the season.
Daly over to Perry. Ripped through to the baseline. His pass to Brown deflected, and back to the Bruins.
Mistake by Brown there. That was baseline drive, baseline
to start.
Well, they've got Sacramento State off balance, turning it over, and they're taking advantage by using those turnovers to get out in transition and finish. Jamar Brown a couple already. Trent Perry's got a couple. But certainly the effort and the intensity on the defensive end that Mick Cronin has been looking for and asking for.
All right, so Perry, Brown, Williams, Jamerson, and Daly, the starting 5. He can't take them out until the Hornets score, right?
You would think. I mean, they've earned that right. If you hold a team scoreless in the first 4 minutes of the game, I think you've earned the right to keep going.
What are these 4 going to do when they finally get off the bench tonight? Defend and rebound was the answer to the question, right?
Yeah. Because we know Mick Cronin well, JB, and if these 4 guys, the regular starters, come in and it doesn't look right, he'll put these guys right back in.
That might be the more interesting question, is how soon do some of these starters re-enter?
That's right.
Deep in the clock, 5 to shoot. Jamar Brown trying to bail the Bruins out. Williams getting the Hornets out in transition. Here's Johnson.
The challenge by Daly, stayed vertical, no foul.
Goes for 8 from the floor for the visitors. Brown comes to a jump stop. Back to Williams. A trail 3 spins out. Jamerson all over the offensive glass again, and he is fouled. If that's Cherry, that's 2. Jamerson shaken up.
Like he came down wrong on his foot. Hopefully nothing serious.
All right, Bilodeau is in, and he's followed by Xavier Booker. And the front court for UCLA arrives just as the starting 5 for Sacramento State picks up his second foul.
No Donovan Dent. So this is the part that really interests me. Is not that, again, I said it in our open, that he made this change. How do these guys react? How does Booker react? How does Bilodeau react? Sky Clark? Do we see a noticeable change in effort and intensity out of them?
Sky Clark to Bilodeau. 10 left on the timer. Daly, a nice shoulder fake, in deep. Couldn't finish.
Oh, this Johnson can really rebound for his size, can he?
It's one thing to see it on paper in the game notes. It's another thing to see him go up through a couple of Bruins to pull one down. Cherry back in the hands of Prophet Johnson, who averages better than 16 per. Mikey Williams way left.
Pretty good rotations that time for UCLA. Good communication on the doubles and getting back out of it.
Clark out of the corner. They rotate it through Booker, who had a nice offensive game, especially early against Arizona. Perry found the cutting Daly, but it goes over to the Hornets.
A good idea by Perry, just probably a little too much traffic in there. Daly couldn't hang on to it. The more this goes along, I said it earlier, Trent Perry will do more, but that turnover's on him, and we know how much turnovers or not having turnovers is a staple of a Mick Cronin team.
Jaden Teach with the basketball. He's the 6th man for Sacramento State. Brandon Gardner in the game as well, and he's got the first hoop for the visitors.
They're trying to get some high-low action to Cherry, and I think they'll live with Gardner at the foul line jumpers instead of Cherry going to work down on the block. Zone look here for Sacramento State.
The first 6 minutes scoreless for UCLA. Put Booker in the middle of this zone. Find him late in the clock. Boy, that touch from the mid-range, so impressive from the 6'11" junior.
Yeah, that's not an easy shot. And I like the presence of Bilodeau to understand where the defense was and find the open guy.
Back-to-back buckets for Sacramento State.
A good penetration by Johnson. Cherry rolling to the rim, easy dunk.
And Cherry has 15 or more points and 7 or more rebounds in all 5 games for Sacramento State. Clark on the skip, turns down the 3 to put it down and sprays it across to Daly. UCLA sharing the basketball, but they come up empty.
I'd like to see UCLA try and get at that foul line area. Then it creates a little high-low action as well, like Sacramento State's trying to do.
So that's where they want him to catch it, Don, you were saying. Well off the block?
Yeah, until he proves he can inside face and knock down that shot, just push him out there, make him a passer instead of a driver. Throws that one away.
Kings legend Mike Bibby with us tonight, and entering the game for UCLA for the first time, Donovan Dent, who was named to the early season Win It Award watch list today.
And just to finish that point, if he's pushed off out there, you don't need to double. Until he gets in the danger zone, he starts backing guys down is when you double. But out there, you can play him straight up.
Dent fresh into the game, spots Clark for 3.
Dent is so good at getting in the paint and making decisions, either for himself or others. That time, easy kick out to Clark.
7-2 his assist to turnover ratio so far. And Booker didn't even get a chance to block that one. It was so well defended. Daly, sweet pass. Bilodeau does the rest.
Ball movement much better tonight. The ball They got a little stagnant on Friday against Arizona. They're at their best when they're playing like we're seeing tonight. Ball movement, guys getting easy looks.
Shooting 8 of 14 in the first half are the UCLA Bruins.
2 turnovers in a row for Cherry because you're making him a passer.
UCLA flexing its depth tonight, out early against Sacramento State after pitching a shutout for the first 6 minutes. Sky Clark off the bench.
He's getting it here the first 8 minutes of this one.
Prophet Johnson descended in from the baseline as we resume. This is Shakir O'Neal, son of Shaq, younger brother of Sharif, who's familiar to UCLA fans.
This Bear Cherry's averaging 18 a night, and he hasn't scored yet. So they're doing a good job overall, but a really good job on him.
Dent stepping on the gas, finds Brown, who got pinned. Brandon Gardner went up to get it.
Great rotation by Gardner to come over and get that one.
Neal cut off on the baseline, able to get through. Bilodeau turns it over. Booker at 6'11" will bring it himself. Tried to Euro, got caught in traffic. Offensive rebound, and he finishes with the left.
Good job staying with it by Booker. Kind of got caught in that Euro by the defender, had a hand on the ball, just put it up on the rim, but went back and got it. Not sure how much Mick Cronin wants Xavier Booker leading the break.
There's a steal from Bilodeau. Again, coming off the bench tonight, in case you're joining us a little bit late. Brown got off the floor, he traveled.
I'm not saying he can't do it, but there's probably better options to lead the break for UCLA, especially with the guys on the floor, but good defense initially, but then ball gets tapped to him and he finishes.
I do remember Cronin saying at some point this fall that he might be the fastest 6'11" player in the country.
Are you the fastest with the ball in your hands, though? Much different story.
Bruins rake another one out. Dent to the floor to secure the possession. Pinballs around. Clark's on top of it. Lost about 7 seconds off that shot clock in the process of securing that possession. Midway point of our opening half. Dent to Brown.
I like that Donovan Dent has options on that high ball screen. You know, there's a lot of Booker in that Arizona game, that high ball screen at the top for pick and pop, I think, to bring the Arizona Big Krivas out on the perimeter. But you're going to see a lot of Bilodeau this year on that high ball screen because of his ability to shoot. And, you know, we've spent a lot of time talking about Donovan Dent, and deservedly so, here earlier in the season. But Tyler Bilodeau is off to a terrific start on the offensive end. 55 from 2, 44 from 3, 17 a night.
Good example of working at his craft, right? He's increased his percentage, attempts, and makes from the three-point line every season of college basketball.
Well, and the other thing, JB, back at his normal position this year at the 4. He played a lot of 5 last year because he had to. So I think it's a combination of being back at the 4 as Johnson knocks down the 3, but also playing with a guy that really understands the game, high basketball IQ, and Donovan Dent. And one of the best in the country at getting guys the ball on time and on target.
So he's the primary beneficiary of the new 1 and the new 5 here in Westwood. Dent with a short clock sends it to Clark off the Bilodeau screen. Step back 3, Sky Clark connects.
It's great to see him playing with so much more freedom this year. We talked last week about what he had to go through last year, caring for his dad, and just the responsibility that brought with it, and just playing much more free this year. Great to see.
This guy's coming off a bit of an off night shooting the basketball against Arizona, but in the mix early here with UCLA on top 25-7. Mark Lavranov, a freshman from Rockland, California, to the foul line. Don pointed this out, but these opportunities have been hard to come by so far for Sacramento State at the Stripe. Friday, the Bruins are back on the floor here at Pauley Pavilion to take on Presbyterian. Coverage begins at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
Oh, just to put a bow on what we've been talking about in this first half and the change in the lineup and all that, I think, starting the season with Eastern Washington and Pepperdine, this was the score we thought that we'd see. No offense to Eastern Washington or Pepperdine, but defensively, when they're locked in like they are tonight, this is the kind of result you get in the first 12 minutes, 11 minutes.
Eastern just teched in to say they're not watching. They were so offended by the things you may have said about them earlier this season that they declined.
No, I was celebrating them. They kept it close in here in Pauley, first game of the year, the whole night.
Mikey Williams here with the basketball. Like Don, he's got over 3 million followers on Instagram.
What's Instagram?
Janai Summers might put that 3 on his feed, but there's an injured Hornet on the baseline, and he's gripping his right knee. That's Cherry, right, Don?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
He played last season at UNLV. He's from San Diego. Ooh. Landed in that hyper-extended position.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he bumped knees. Sometimes that seems worse than it actually is, but not going to speculate, but looks like he's in a pretty good amount of pain. It'd be a gigantic loss, obviously, for Sacramento State.
6'11" senior, averaging nearly a double-double for the Hornets down at Pauley Pavilion.
And focus from your defense, and now he's not in there. You can stay attached and not have to rotate as much to other guys with Cherry not in there.
They have the 6'8" Lavranov in at the 5 now, and a whistle on Mikey Williams. His first, 5th on Sacramento State.
Jamerson back in there for UCLA. Had a good first rip of minutes.
The illegal screen here, probably worth calling out that he also injured himself. Last time we saw him, he was hobbling off this floor.
It's interesting, that sequence right there. A defensive foul on the high ball screen, then an offensive foul in the same possession.
Don't teach off that tape is the point.
No.
A big void in the middle of this offense right now for the Hornets. See if Williams can take over with Perry staying in front. Daly arrives as the second defender as Summers hoists. Last touch by Bilodeau, apparently.
Probably a little early for a coach's challenge at this point. Let's take a look. Got the call changed without the challenge.
Yeah, he asked Larry Scarrato to get involved and to give a second opinion. John Floyd, Crystal Hogan, our crew tonight.
Like Sacramento State's defense playing with a little more urgency here the last 3, 4, 5 minutes.
5 left. Donovan Dents to Daly. With Williams dug in defensively. Best defensive possession of the game for Sacramento State.
Creating a little momentum for themselves here.
Prophet Johnson spinning off his crossover. Couldn't score it. This will go over to UCLA.
It's interesting. When you lose your best player, it can go one way or the other. It can really deflate you, take the air out of your team, or it can raise the level. Looks to me like it's raised the level a little bit here for Sacramento State.
Dent pulls a long 2, a bit flat, and a defensive board. Lavranov battling off Bilodeau, and they're going to hit Tyler with the foul. It's a second on Bilodeau. It's a Hornets group coming off a come-from-behind win at home most recently. They scored 12 of the final 14 in a win over Presbyterian on Sunday. That's the team that UCLA will face next in kind of this 4-team MTE. Williams, step back. Over Dent, couldn't get the roll, and the defensive glass cleaned by Eric Daly. Here he is on the move.
See if UCLA can get back on track here offensively.
Dent downhill. Extra pass to Perry. He also didn't want the three. And Jamerson digging in for position. Gardner brings the whistle.
UCLA now in the bonus. Next foul on Sacramento State.
Xavier Booker is back. He can deliver some instant offense. Jamar Brown also checking in for McCrone.
And you wonder without Cherry in there as well.
Williams off the baseline find is going to the line.
Gardner turned his head, and when he turned it back around, Williams was laying it up.
So he just took his second and his third, and at 6'8", he's another big body that the Hornets cannot afford to lose. And Williams still looking for his first foul shot of the season. A redshirt sophomore.
UCLA off to a good start this year. Again, small sample size, 4 games, but 77% at the line. You go, any program would take that. Obviously, you want better. Wisconsin's doing it again. 84% as a team. Last year, second all-time in NCAA history at the foul line, 82%.
This possession courtesy of a Booker offensive rebound. Brown lines up a three.
I said early, meaning last week or the week before, that Brown's going to have some games. I just have this feeling for UCLA. He's a good shooter, that he's going to come in and provide a big lift for UCLA when they need it, especially when you get into Big Ten conference play.
It sounds like he gives them a lift on the floor as a 3-and-D guy, but is also a great presence to have on the practice court in the locker room.
Yeah, tough kid. It's been a few places, but Mick Cronin really likes him, likes his toughness, likes his rebounding. But again, UCLA seems to always have one of those guys where they come off the bench, and not every game, but they come out, hit 2, 3, 4 threes in a row and provide a big lift.
Draws Prophet Johnson defensively at this end. Williams looking to rotate it. Here's Trent Perry. And back in the hands of Brown.
Williams missed him.
Brown with a short clock. Late find and a layup for Xavier Booker.
A good decision by Brown. I thought he was going to let that one fly, but he had a good shot. Booker had a great shot.
Mick said something the other night that said one area where his team can get better, finding Booker when he's open on the interior. And that was a great example of, yeah, would anyone have faulted him for taking that three? No. But I bet he'll get kudos in the film room for getting a Booker layup instead.
Well, and the other thing is Booker will continue to work hard to get open if guys are finding him. If you're big down there and you're working, playing through contact, and you never get it, at some point you just stop working.
Did I sense you going in a direction earlier with Cherry off the floor? The spots where Booker might want to operate tonight suddenly change in terms of where he wants the basketball on the floor?
I'm not necessarily where he wants it, but once he gets it, less challenging to finish where he gets it. Cherry, a big, strong body, can knock Booker off his spots and challenge him at the rim.
So, whereas he was in pick and pop against Arizona to draw their bigs away from the basket, tonight he might just be at the basket because there's no resistance.
That's right. And that's what I was saying earlier about the matchups. UCLA, because Booker can make a three, because Bilodeau can make a three, even Daly makes a three. Now you just attack which guy doesn't want to be out there guarding the three.
You said it, Bilodeau shooting it well. 50, 40, 80 so far in his senior season.
And you and I remember him as a freshman at Oregon State, wondering how good he was going to get. Had a monster second year at Oregon State and then came here to UCLA and has only continued to get better.
Remember documenting his hockey background and how he was only 5'11" as a freshman in high school. Didn't kind of grow into hoops until he quite literally grew. The growth spurt is what triggered it. Finished as the player of the year in the state of Washington as a senior, and now senior collegiate. Shaquille O'Neal. What a pass. Prophet Johnson will have to earn it at the line. But O'Neal able to thread that needle.
Well, in Booker, again, he's being asked to do some different things than he did at Michigan State. That's be more of a 5, more of a defender, a rim protector, rebounder. And so when you're challenging a smaller guy like Johnson, you don't need to come down. Just go straight up and get the ball out of his hands. Don't try and block it in his hand. Wait till it leaves, then go block it.
Bilodeau back in for Brandon Williams. Ball rebound off the foul shot. Karen's back in the hands of the Hornets.
This is one area, JB, we haven't talked about much tonight is the rebounding for UCLA. They have the personnel to be a good rebounding team. Haven't been a great rebounding team to start the season. That's one area of emphasis.
Perry had it stripped by Prophet Johnson. Well, to your point, that should be a dominant category the rest of the way, with Jeremiah Cherry yet to come out of the Sacramento State locker room after that knee injury.
That time Booker just went vertical. Williams over the top. I'd like to see him challenge that without fouling. And again, this is somewhat new for Booker, being asked to do what he's being asked to do. And I think he'll improve as the season goes on with that stuff.
Indeed. And a soft lefty jump hook.
You can do that, especially I'd keep going to that and make Sacramento State make an adjustment, bring a second defender.
Johnson picked up his dribble, needs help. Mark Lavrinov trying to bail him out, but Bilodeau was there to steal the possession.
You like the deep post position because when he gets it, with a smaller guy on him, it's easy over the top with that nice touch he's got. UCLA up big. Big Ten regular season by 3 games. Does it every year and been doing it forever.
It was an authoritative start here at Pauley Pavilion for UCLA, but kind of a mid-first half lull. See if the Bruins can step on it a little bit going to the break.
Yeah, I think it's 2 things, JB. I think UCLA's gotten a little flat offensively. They were really sharp to start, but I think Sacramento State, you got to give them a little credit. Their defense has picked up since the first 7 or 8 minutes.
Perry navigated that well. His push shot too strong. So a stop for Sacramento State. Here's O'Neal.
But what else happened earlier in the game? UCLA's defense was leading to easy offense. Not as many transition opportunities here late in the first half.
Right on cue, they get a steal, and Perry's ahead of the pack. Summers closing as Perry lays it in.
Good poise there by Perry. Looked at the defender, but then went straight to the backboard. Sometimes guys rush that to beat the defender and miss it. Made sure he was under control.
Lavrinov, no. And Sacramento State 2 of 12 from behind the arc. They're shooting 20% from the floor. Ooh, Clark, cookie. Missed it left.
Thing to keep an eye on with Sky Clark that we noticed earlier in the year. The guy never gets screened, Sky Clark. Like high ball, anywhere a ball screen is, he's so good with his feet, he avoids the screen every time. So if I'm playing UCLA, whoever Sky Clark's guarding isn't going to be involved in the ball screen. Because the only reason you're doing a ball screen is A, to get a switch or create a mismatch, or to try and turn the corner, get downhill. Well, if the guy's never getting screened, why even set the ball screen?
You sense that UCLA not only knows that, but plays to that? Like, do they handle screens on Clark differently, I wonder? Just trusting him to get through everything.
They don't have to switch, I can tell you that.
We hit the bonus here with 1:26 to go in the opening half. Think on whether there's another player like Sky Clark who's kind of known for that ability that you just highlighted for us.
Well, there's guys, obviously, they're good defenders in screen roll game, but they're good at fighting through, being physical, getting over the top or reading it, going under. They're just good at it. They're good at reading it. But, like, I don't remember a guy who never gets screened.
Long administrative stoppage here before Bilodeau can get to the line. It's a double bonus situation for Bilodeau. He's made his only shot tonight. This is his first trip to the line.
Pretty balanced scoring for UCLA.
It's been the theme all year, hasn't it? Falls coming up on the halftime show presented by State Farm. Rick and Earl break down all the action, including a look at that Michigan State win at MSG. Coming up at halftime. Bilodeau gets both. And waiting for him at the table, Brandon Williams.
Bilodeau with 3 fouls, so McCronin getting him out of the game. And pick up that 4th before halftime.
UCLA's done a nice job on Mikey Williams. Average is better than 16 per. Only 2 points in this first half.
Like Jamerson's activity in that ball screen. See, watch this. Clark won't get screened.
Summers through 2 Bruins and a late whistle. Clark with his hands to the sky is going to be hit with it.
See, look at that. Nobody ever hits him, ever. Now, some of that is his quickness, some of it's instinct, but some of it is coaching and the scouting report.
Janai Summers, a junior from Evansville, Indiana, at the stripe. Donovan Dent in to get Clark. Summers arrived from Indiana State out of the Missouri Valley Conference. This is an entirely, I mean, top to bottom new roster for Mike Bibby. All 14 players brand new to Sacramento State.
Who would have thought we would ever gotten to that, where there's multiple teams in the country with no returning players? Not one.
Dent, no look. Perry, ripcord.
Good sign for UCLA. Trent Perry getting on track from behind the three-point line.
He's got 11 to lead the Bruins in this half.
Dent. Look how many guys are around Donovan Dent. So somebody's open. But that's when teams are scouting and preparing for UCLA, the number one thing probably is we have to find a way to keep Donovan Dent out of the paint. And you saw why there.
He's averaging more than 9 points per game in the lane, tied for second among Big Ten guards with Peyton Mingo from Penn State.
But to me, JB, and that's a great point, but to me it's worse when he collapses the defense and kicks it out for threes instead of his own twos.
Gotcha. So he's forcing you to pick your poison.
Exactly.
And they're choosing the wrong poison. UCLA did not allow Sacramento State to score for the first 6 minutes of this game. They've led the half wire to wire. Dent, one more. Williams, and he pours it in. UCLA goes to the half on the strength of back-to-back threes, courtesy of Donovan Dent's distribution.
He just destroys defenses with his penetration, whether he's looking for his own or kicking it out to shooters. The last 2 possessions, kick out to shooters, 6 quick points, push the lead to 25.
They scored 12 of the last 14 points going to that halftime locker room. Keep an eye on Jamerson there with an arm around each teammate. He was shaken up at the end of his first rip of minutes. Mick Cronin shuffling his starting lineup after a physical week of practice in anticipation of Sacramento State, and it's all UCLA here in Westwood. Keep an eye on Jamerson, how much, if at all, he's able to play in this half. We've documented he's been less than 100% moving to the end of the UCLA bench. And conversely, Jeremiah Cherry, arguably the biggest piece, both in stature and contribution, now icing his knee with that first half injury.
If the score stays what it is, I would doubt we'll see Jamerson again. No reason to risk anything.
Gardner off the mark with the first heave of the half. Dug out by the Bruins. Sky Clark had it poke checked away from Janai Summers. So this is the 6'11 senior from San Diego who's clearly done for the night.
Yeah, unfortunate. Let's hope it's nothing long-term for him and for Sacramento State.
Program that has announced it will join the Big West Conference as a full member beginning next year. It's a good basketball league. Bilodeau has it blocked.
And opened a new building this year. The Well, 3,000 seat arena. They've sold out first couple games of the year.
Williams in attack mode is tripped.
UCLA historically under Mick Cronin has been not only a very good defensive team, but a good defensive team that doesn't foul. And they started off that first half without foul and ended up with 9 first half fouls. They can get back to guarding without fouling here.
And Clark with 3. Trent Perry, the leading scorer for UCLA, steps onto the court early in the opening minute of the second half. Prophet Johnson over to Williams. This is Gardner also playing through foul trouble. Summers able to beat the buzzer for 3.
Adjust in the air on the closeout from Perry. Tough shot. Gets it to go in.
Dent on the throwback. Bilodeau spotting up, hits the heel. Rebound to Mikey Williams.
I'm telling you, if you just move playing with Dent, you're going to get the ball.
Sometimes you don't even have to move. Just go stand on the three-point line and catch threes.
The decision-making of Dent is what sets him apart. And his ability to get his own, but also get guys involved. He makes, you can't say this about a lot of players, especially in college. You can say it about a lot of NBA players, about making the game easier for your teammates. And Donovan Dent does that.
I read, you probably did too, that he was partially inspired by Lonzo Ball's time as a Bruin, and you can see those influences, watching him play on this floor. Booker shot it so well against Arizona, including from behind the arc. Misses here, and we're going the other way.
Well, you don't want Booker shooting a ton of threes, but he's proven he can make them. He is 3 for 7 on the season coming in. So a weapon, but you don't want him staying out here and staying out there all game. And that's kind of what he did before. And that's what I was talking about earlier about being asked to be different, be more of a 5 instead of a perimeter guy.
Mark Lavrinov has nowhere to go. And so Janai Summers will reset with Mikey Williams. 5 to shoot. Dent hanging with him through that screen, creating for a layup, Prophet Johnson.
Mikey Williams, great vision. I thought he was going to just put something up on the window, and if he didn't make it, guys crashed the offensive board, but good find.
Dent digging in. Lost it deep. Gardner poked it away.
One of the rare bad decisions by Dent there. Really went in there, nothing there, but challenged the defense. There was 2 guys there to send it back.
Williams exploring off the bounce and draws front iron. Lavrinov with a rare offensive rebound and earns a trip to the line.
Lavrinov's working hard in there, but this is an area, I said it at the end of the first half, where like you gotta be better against a smaller team. See Dent challenging the defense, looking for the foul, and he's very good at drawing fouls, Dent. But Booker's got to be stronger than that. And he knows what he's in for come early December and then again starting in January. When you look at some of these Big Ten rosters, JB, like Michigan's front line, my goodness.
You don't want to be driving in there?
I mean, you got 7'3" Mara, 6'10" Merez Johnson, 6'8" or 9" Lendebourg. Good luck driving in there.
For UCLA, that first wave of conference play before the new year has some familiar opponents, Washington and Oregon.
Washington much improved this year. I saw them on Friday for the first time. Really good guards up there at UW this year.
They're down 4 against Southern in overtime, I'm told right now. So something
really?
to monitor.
Huh.
Maybe looking ahead to that league game against UCLA.
Must be.
Last 7 points belong to Sacramento State. Sneaky good run here to begin the second half. Williams to the corner. Gardner off the mark. Long rebounds. It's bowled over. Janai Summers is going to get possession here.
Again, they are just not cleaning up their defensive board. You know, it's like balls are loose. Nobody's going to get it. And I understand that long rebounds like that are more difficult, but even still, it's a much smaller team in Sacramento State than UCLA. UCLA should be dominating their own defensive board.
Summers right around Brown. Finger roll with the left.
Well, you said it, JB. Good answer here to start the second half from Sacramento State. Down to 16.
The last 9 belong to the visitors. Bilodeau and Williams screening for Perry. High-low entry tipped away.
This is where Bilodeau spent a lot more time last year.
Can't break the spell on the offensive glass. Daly does.
When Bilodeau was asked to play more of the 5 last year, they went to him a lot in that mid-post area, and he was effective. And I think we'll see that this year. But with Booker playing more, you may not see it as much.
Stop and a transition opportunity here as Perry settles into the half court. Daly makes the extra pass. Williams out of the corner. Nearly missed it all. Brown flings it quick. UCLA did get a reset, so time on the shot clock as Bilodeau is fouled. And we will step aside. Timeout us. Eric Daly Jr. able to snap a good run from Sacramento State to begin this second half at Pauley Pavilion.
Hype coming in behind Mike Bibby, and I don't remember what happened. I just remember that GP was in him from the jump.
Been a good start to his coaching career, too. He had assistant stops with the Puerto Rican national team, some NBA Summer League opportunities, the G League Ignite. Out of the stoppage, UCLA gets a clean look at 3 that Dent can't put down.
UCLA's had some good looks tonight. They just haven't been able to get to go down.
Bilodeau gets the Summers miss. Here's Dent. Decides to call his own number, and it counts.
Again, the theme of the night for me at least has been when the defense is right, getting stops, get it out, and score before that defense gets set. Just makes it so much easier on your team to not be playing against a set defense in the half court all the time. But you can only do it if you're getting stops.
Dent leaves one at the line, so unable to cap the 3-point opportunity. 5 minutes into our second half. So far, the visitors have had the better of it.
You see Dent stay on the line there, kind of fell off the line.
Bilodeau trying to stay in front of Mikey Williams. Don, you said it earlier, but Bilodeau's battling foul trouble.
That's his 4th, so he's obviously going to come out for a while. Got a 20-point lead, so no need to risk him picking up his 5th, but you know Mikey Williams is driving. When he ISOs up top, I think he's pulled up maybe once or twice, but for the most part, he's trying to get all the way to the rim. Bilodeau's just got to stay vertical and make him make a tough shot. Don't have to block it, just get him to miss.
Rare miss at the stripe for an 86% foul shooter. It's Xavier Booker in to spell Bilodeau with those fouls. Sophomore from San Diego, Mikey Williams, started his college career at UCF. Wow. Probably won't go all season missing 2 foul shots again.
87%er.
Trailing Perry here. Williams puts it down. What a clever play by Mikey Williams. He got the deflection and then he knocked it off Perry to take the possession over to Sacramento State.
Mikey Williams super aggressive on this possession and then finished it with the steal.
Furious over the foul shots.
It's a good point. That may have been what it was.
I'd ask you what it's like to miss foul shots and play defense, but I know you know nothing about either of those two topics.
Wait. Forget it.
Did you ever miss 2 foul shots?
In a row?
I won't check, yeah. You ever go
I'm sure I did.
2 at a trip?
But this is, again, understanding the scouting report. Sacramento State, now with Cherry, they generated a lot of threes playing through Cherry on the block and the double teams and kickouts and all that. Now it's just spread out, and they're putting their heads down and trying to get into the paint, get to the rim. UCLA has to try and keep them in front, number 1, but then number 2, if they do get by, don't foul them and put them on the line.
And the complexion, the style of the game has changed entirely, probably from what UCLA was prepared to defend.
No doubt.
It was Prophet Johnson who got a steal and a layup to give the Hornets the lead with less than 3 minutes to go in their last opportunity. That was a win in comeback fashion over Presbyterian over the weekend. Patient with the dribble and the drive. Donovan Dent gets all the way home.
Understands angles, understands change of speed, change of direction, but always under control to make the right decision. That time saw the lane, took it all the way to the rim.
Lavrinov on the roll.
If you're under control and you have a burst, it makes it a lot easier to make decisions, because right here he's like, okay, I see the lane, I'm going all the way. If somebody slides over, I'm under control, I can still throw it back out.
So what is it for Donovan? Just turnover minimization and proving that he can defend at the highest level?
For him individually, or for how it pertains to UCLA success?
You got 13-47. Take him in your own stride, Don.
Well, I think for Donovan Dent, he needs to prove he can guard. If he wants to play at the next level, he had to improve defensively. Wasn't really asked to defend at New Mexico, but he is here, and he'll be evaluated on whether he can guard at this level. And I think for UCLA too, you know, they're going to run into some matchups where they have bigger guards. Can he hold up against them? But offensively, there's not much to dislike about Donovan Dent's game.
Booker coughed up that offensive rebound. Johnson on the run out with his eyes up, runs into Booker. Lavrinov decided he didn't want any part of that. Who can blame him?
Good hand by Dent there.
Williams had a 3-on-2. Dent started to spin out of it and then decided to press the issue and bring the whistle. Second foul on Janai Summers. 4th on Sacramento State.
Sacramento State already in the bonus after I celebrated UCLA's ability to guard without fouling. And now 13-13 to go. Free throws the rest of the way for Sacramento State.
Well, the problem is they missed 5 of them. Yeah, that's a path to a comeback as Booker decides to take the layup rather than stretch for the dunk.
That whole thing I was saying about making the game easier for others, it's a great example right there. Draw the defense, throw it up, Booker finish.
Williams takes the long way around and feeds the shooter. Armand Mahdi is into the game for the first time today for Bibby. 2-3 times, I think, that Bruins have been called for shuffling off that screen. This time it's Xavier Booker.
I haven't seen a lot of this called this year so far. There's the setup from Dent to Booker.
I didn't love about it is there's nothing wrong with moving. Like, you can set a screen and move, but did you kind of materially alter the path of the defender? And I'm not sure that this meets that threshold. What do you see here? Yeah, it's a brush.
Yeah. You could also let that one go, and I'd be fine with it too.
Lavrinov hammers the dribble, blocked by Daly, but fouled perhaps by Brown. Let's see who they put that on. That's Eric Freeney. That's former high school teammate who takes that personal foul, and the foul shooting troubles continue for the Hornets.
Well, and Freeney's got to know that there's most likely help coming when a guy gets that deep, goes to 2 feet. Your defense has time to rotate over. So just go straight up and let the other guys come from behind and block it, which would have happened had he not fouled him.
Dent downhill. Comes up short, but a late whistle should give him 2 free throws.
Oh, we're getting a whistle on every possession.
It's a second on Mikey Williams there. Only Dent's second trip to the line tonight. He missed his first and now his second. The Big Show delivers highlights, post-game interviews, and complete analysis. It's next on the Big Ten Network and on your Fox Sports app.
You wonder if, and this is a big if, and I'm just thinking out loud, like, didn't start tonight. Does that throw him off a little bit? Things like free throw shooting are kind of a mental thing. You just wonder, maybe that's the case. And maybe not.
Johnson, look what I found on the weak side. Well, if I'm Donovan Dent, I'm saying that's exactly what happened, and I'm trusting that we'll never have to cross this bridge again. Feeds the post, and one. Eric Daly Jr.
Deep post position, and if you work to get position, Dent's probably going to get it to you. Good strong move from Daly.
Eric Daly Jr. at the line, looking to cap a 3-point opportunity that spans the 12-minute mark timeout. You talked about this with respect to Bilodeau, but from Daly's lens, playing more at the 3 this year, allowing UCLA to be bigger in its front court. Clean look for Sacramento State that Prophet Johnson could not hit. Perry up to Daly to the corner. Freeney's getting some second half burn here for UCLA. He's at the far wing. Daly gets to the baseline, muscles it up, and they count it.
Well, I think the nice thing, getting back to your point, JB, with Eric Daly is, yes, he was asked to play a lot of 4 last year, got worn down a little bit. His natural position is the 3, but again, if you're talking about roster flexibility, you want the ability to, based on matchups, Daly can play the 3 and the 4. So yes, he will start most nights at the 3, but can see him sliding back over, playing some 4 as this goes along.
We haven't talked about it, but I assume you're a big proponent of the continuous motion adaptation in college basketball to get more count it moments like that.
It's a difficult call for the officials from the standpoint, are you really trying to score? It's not, you know, you watch in the NBA where a guy gets hit and then he just chucks it over his shoulder and he gets to the foul line. That's not the rule in college. And so they have to be able to determine, is it a scoring play?
It sounds like the officials have been instructed, especially early in the season, to err on the side of yes, in the act of scoring. Williams almost did it there. A Dent three spins out. Williams, another offensive rebound. Both teams in the bonus for the final 10.5. Barnes is here. I think several former NBA players, maybe to check in with Bibby.
Maybe they were hoping to see Shaq.
That's true. Shaquille O'Neal does have a role with this Sacramento State program.
General manager role.
Prophet Johnson on the move. Able to spin it out to the corner with Teets. He goes to work on Franey. Hits the heel. Skying for the rebound, it's Gardner. And he's fouled. So Bibby, who was appointed in March, has his son Michael as one of 2 associate head coaches. He's got Shaq as his GM and Brad Miller as what they call a lead advisor, Don.
And it sounds like he's at practices a lot, just kind of giving advice and helping teach guys. It's certainly an NBA influence now at Sacramento State, no doubt.
Shakir O'Neal on the roster, a transfer from Florida A&M after he spent his first 3 seasons with Texas Southern. I don't think I need to know, but I will. That's a volunteer position for Shaq, not drawing a salary.
I don't think he's drawn a salary, JB.
And I know he doesn't need to.
No.
Officials sending both teams to their benches after this skirmish. Donovan Dent decked.
That push at the end. Excessive. Non-basketball play. I'm certain that's going to be an F1.
The previous play is under
because
review
it is,
for a
two,
flagrant
because
foul.
at this stage of the game with 10 minutes still to go, you want to make sure you nip anything in the bud. Seeing Larry Scarrato, John Floyd, Crystal Hogan, our 3 official crew.
A little bit to the head there too, but I think the push is what is going to warrant the F1. This game is certainly grinded to a halt here in the second half.
Dent will get his opportunity at the line where he's 1 for 3 so far. Only 5 points, 5 assists coming off the bench for Dent.
Just not a smart play by Williams. And I don't know if there's been some John going back and forth between Dent and Williams, possibly. But
Williams from San Diego, Dent from Riverside.
After review, the foul has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul. UCLA will shoot 2 shots and retain possession of the basketball.
is that the 3rd or 4th on Williams? 3rd?
3rd. So Dent, as UCLA fans know, was held out against West Georgia in anticipation of that Arizona game. Now coming off the bench, and Don, you suggested it, that perhaps it's thrown off his 79% foul shooting. We're going with that now. There's too much evidence to ignore.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Anytime things change, and look, Mick Cronin did what he needed to do because the defense is much better, especially from the guys that didn't start tonight. But some guys it affects, some guys it doesn't, and it has to be that for Dent. He's too good of a foul shooter.
Good inbound action. Finding some airspace. Daly, acrobatic for two.
Back up to 25 for UCLA.
Williams and Dent continue to go at each other.
Miscommunication by Sacramento State, but good adjustment by Daly to avoid the defense and get that up on the window.
Last year, UCLA was almost 20 points per 100 possessions better on offense with Eric on the floor. And of the starters so far this season, he was the one in the first 5 for Cronin tonight.
But so versatile offensively. He can play down on the low block. He can hit a 3, play him at that elbow area.
Dent finds him again. Extra pass to Williams. He's been in the right spot, just hasn't hit the shot so far tonight, Brandon Williams.
Good find by Daly, too.
He draws iron on the 3. Williams has an extra possession. Nine-minute mark. Jaden Teat with the basketball. Walks down Williams. Daly cleans the glass.
It's a tough shot. One-legged runner going left, back over your right shoulder.
Yeah, Freeney went after his own there and gives it back to the Hornets. Bilodeau re-enters. His minutes limited, one by coach's decision, but also by foul trouble tonight.
It's what we saw a lot of last year. We were just alluding to it. Bilodeau at the 5, Daly at the 4.
Williams turns and hits.
Pretty good defense, just better offense that time.
And the pass into Bilodeau. Another whistle against Sacramento State. Double bonus for both teams for the final 8:15. Bruins are going to host that Presbyterian team that Sacramento State just beat this Friday before playing Cal at Chase Center in San Francisco next Tuesday. You can see the peaks and the valleys in their schedule, right, as they build towards conference play in early December and then again in the new year.
So all the games are important, but those first 2 conference games really important. And then they have Gonzaga middle of the month in December in Seattle, neutral site.
Zags have been impressive so far.
They have. Seems like the same thing I was saying about Tom Izzo earlier applies to Mark Few as well. Lose a bunch of guys, you think they're going to be down, and here they are again.
First attempt for Taj Glover, a deep reserve for Sacramento State, is an air ball. Due for a timeout next whistle. Daly's been carrying the offensive load since the break. Dent in deep, finds him again. Extra pass, Bilodeau couldn't handle it. Teat pulls in transition. Bilodeau snatches it down, and now Sky Clark on the move. Slaloming through to tee up Dent. Everything but the bucket for the Bruins.
See him settle it here.
Dent snaking off that screen, gets to the right hand, but they'll wipe it away. Could be 5 on Bilodeau. And material at this point with 7:03 to go at Pauley Pavilion. Bilodeau among those who did not start, and now he's been disqualified. It was Tyler taking the foul and wiping away the Dent layup when we last saw you. 6:58 to go here in regulation. UCLA bouncing back from a in-town loss, not here, but in Los Angeles, in Inglewood technically, against Arizona at the end of last week.
We've mentioned a couple times tonight, JB, UCLA rebounding their defensive board. That's the 12th offensive rebound for Sacramento State tonight, and that's without Jeremiah Cherry, who was their biggest concern on the offensive board.
There he is with the knee now iced and wrapped. Xavier Booker in for Mick Cronin one more time tonight. That Arizona-UCLA game looked like a regional, didn't it? Over at Intuit.
It did. That's what I said in our open high-level game. It really was. Like, execution you knew was going to decide it, and unfortunately Arizona just executed better down the stretch than UCLA.
Clark working on a 6-point night with the basketball. Dent with 5. Wicked crossover. Retrieved by Brown.
Gotta go.
It's Clark from range, pouring in a 3.
Late clock. It's all he could do from deep. Knocks it in.
Had a couple of those tonight.
Yeah.
No choice but to hoist, and it's gone well for him. Williams downhill. On the double clutch, he missed it. Numbers the other way for the Bruins if they hurry. Clark didn't want that heat check.
I would have wanted that.
That goes without saying. Here's the hot hand between two Hornets. Will have to earn it at the line.
Well, good presence by Clark to know where the shot clock is. Sometimes when you just let it fly, it goes in.
You mentioned the foul shooting for UCLA. A lot of it's having the right guys taking those foul shots, and Daly certainly one of them, and Arizona far from the only opportunity that Mick Cronin will have to add to that non-conference resume.
Well, guess what, JB? In a couple weeks, we get to start talking about net rankings. And the reason I say that is that Gonzaga game will have a huge effect on net rankings for both UCLA and Gonzaga.
Do you mind if I get the college football playoff settled first before we
Are you kidding me?
flip that switch?
We got to get the net rankings going as soon as possible. Which I think you and I agree, because we've done a million games together. And this is just my opinion, and I think your opinion, that I don't think the net ranking should start until January.
Well, somewhere around the million game mark, I think I lost track of my own opinions, and I just started using yours. So yes, they've merged.
Yeah.
I concur, Don.
Yeah.
I've learned that's the path of least resistance. I love the way teams are scheduling these days, though. November, December has gotten a lot more fascinating for me in college basketball with these high-level tilts.
In part because of the net rankings. It used to be you'd play all your home bye games like this one, get to 20 wins and get yourself in the NCAA tournament. It doesn't work like that anymore.
On a one-way trip to the rim, Daly draws the whistle. These games still serve their purpose, right? They're the intervening games between the mountaintop moments.
I think there has to be a mix, and I think with conference realignment, travel has to be factored in now with your non-con schedule, and I think it is for a lot of teams.
Take a look here at the ranked teams in the Big Ten, and then also a nice handful receiving votes knocking on the door. Saw Iowa winner on Big Ten Network earlier tonight.
Illinois has been impressive as well, but their schedule is about to get real interesting.
Is it Bama?
They have, yeah.
An ovation here for Eric Daly Jr. 15 and 10. His double-double secured. Likely victory as well as we hit the 5-minute mark. Booker's still on the floor. Defending and altering. O'Neal has an offensive rebound. Brown's on his back, and he'll shoot 2.
But you feel like, JB, that they were better tonight defensively. Different starting lineup. But you don't want to end the game, even though the score is out of touch. But you want to feel good finishing the game. And the defensive board has still been a problem tonight for UCLA.
Only 4:58 away from Mick Cronin's next press conference, which for me has become must-see TV. I think I ingest all of those. He almost fired himself after the opening win.
Yes, he did.
Sky Clark off a physical Booker screen. Dent controls it, throws to his big. Little to no rim protection left on this front line for Sacramento State.
And Booker, when they've thrown it in there, has had a lot of success because of Cherry being out for most of this one.
A 6 of 8 from the floor, to your point, as that falls for Prophet Johnson. He's in a double figures, and not only that, you touched on it earlier, but a tremendous rebounding guard. He's got another double-digit rebounding showing on the road here at UCLA. Perry pulls.
Some guys just have rebounding instincts. There's a guy that new to the league this year in the Big Ten, Hannes Steinbach at UW, just has a knack for rebounding. Ball just always finds him. Averaging double-digit rebounds. I don't know what he did tonight, but coming into that game, he was averaging a double-double.
Marini took a look for reinforcements and decided to call his own number.
It's that time of the game, isn't it?
Get yours?
Yeah. It's not?
Before someone comes off the bench to get you, right? 3:29, and we should see some new names when we come back for UCLA with a 71-43 lead. Contributions as well.
But I concur with Rick. The second half has not been very aesthetically pleasing. That is for sure.
May not be an oil painting, but it will be a win for UCLA. They're 4th, and they should be able to deploy the rest of their bench momentarily. And look, coming off a highly competitive game against Arizona, what we were told was a very physical and intense round of practice coming off of that loss. Not the worst thing to keep some tread on tires with your frontline scholarship players.
And again, we came on the air talking about that, JB, that there's, Mick Cronin's teams, and we've gotten to know him because he's been here long enough now, what that defense is supposed to look like, and it just hasn't looked right. Look, they lost a tough one to Arizona, but even in their 3 wins coming in, the defense just didn't look like what we're accustomed to. And I think it looked more like that tonight. And I hate to keep talking about it, but a big part of defense is finishing the possession with a rebound, and way too many second chance opportunities for Sacramento State tonight.
Next 5, Presbyterian, Cal, Washington, Oregon, and Gonzaga. Well, and as a result, just to cap your point, the scoreboard looks a lot more like I think people were expecting it to look here at Pauley Pavilion in the month of November.
Yeah. There's no doubt.
Jamar Brown, who got the extra year of eligibility to offset his JUCO time, gets to wear a UCLA uniform at the tail end of his college career. Mikey Williams over Booker, left it on the iron, and Booker volleyballs it to himself.
So we'll see UCLA use some of the shot clock coming down the home stretch.
Xavier Booker had it strict. Gardner gives it back to Williams. Did not finish. Booker there on the defensive glass. Jamar Brown to Freeney with some English.
Probably could have short-sided that one. I saw the defender come and went to the opposite side, made it a lot more difficult, but got it to go in.
Prophet Johnson hits Sky Clark with a block. Tomorrow, more basketball coming your way. 7th-ranked Michigan taking on Middle Tennessee. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Mike Bibby emptying his Sacramento State bench. And Mick Cronin starting to do the same with Jack Seidler, a sophomore, in for the first time. UCLA is going to improve to 4-0 head-to-head against Sacramento State. Most recently, the season opener in 22 was their most recent collision. The Bruins have never surrendered more than 56 points head-to-head.
Jalen Clark in that game, who that year was Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, 7 steals, which was kind of the norm for him. One of the better on-ball defenders we've seen in the last several years. That's why he's in the NBA.
I think that was one of our million games. Remember that night.
I do too.
Williams, offensive rebounds. And 1:44 to go. He'll head to the line.
Not often you see 50 fouls in a game, but we're seeing it tonight.
Put that one on Romari Robinson. Mick Cronin, twice a Pac-12 Coach of the Year, also Coach of the Year in the AAC, the OVC. Can he do it in a 4th league? Only a matter of time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. This year, conference play in the Big Ten is going to be fascinating because it's deeper than it was last year. And so whether or not there was no easy games last year, but easier, I think most people would agree with that. There's really none this year. And so if you're going to win this conference, you got to win at home and win on the road.
So the floor is higher,
yes,
and the competition for those tournament spots will be all the more fierce. Anthony Peoples into the game for UCLA.
I think there's at minimum going to be 10 teams from the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament. Could be more.
Seidler being urged to shoot. Final 75 seconds here at Pauley Pavilion. Freeney operating off the dribble. Seidler. Christian Ori also into the game for UCLA in these closing minutes. Here he is on the closeout. Taj Glover denied, but will keep the possession. You said Sacramento State leveling up, of course, against UCLA. They came in shooting 48% on the season from the floor. Tonight held to 23% shooting. Seidler snags that rebound. And Ori in the corner. Here he is.
I feel like we've been watching Seidler for years come in at the end of games. I feel like he's been here forever.
Listed sophomore. And he splashes a bucket to cap the night.
Good for him.
Marlboro's all-time leading scorer in New Jersey.
Look, he can play. Like, they don't bring in walk-ons at a program like this. They need him to practice. And so, yeah, he may be a walk-on, but he can play.
Final hoop of the night for Sacramento State belongs to Mark Lavrinov, who had to play big minutes, stepping in for the injured Jeremiah Cherry. Shot clock turned off. Seidler has his hoop and can dribble it out. UCLA bounces back from their first loss of the season. They improve to 4-1. 79-48 the final.
Well, we opened the night with a change. Different starting lineup for Mick Cronin, I think trying to send a message. And then the starters came in. Defense much better. Attention to detail. Didn't rebound their board as well as I think Mick and his staff would like them to, but a more impressive, resounding win for UCLA tonight.
They'll host Presbyterian this Friday, once again on Big Ten Network. That'll do it for us here in LA, where UCLA defeats Sacramento State. Up next, back to our Chicago studios, The Big Show with Rick Earl and Jake Budd. After the break, for Don McClain and Aaron Tyler. Big Ten Network crew, I'm JB Long saying so long, and thank you for watching.